Can you use a 4 years old Samsung flagship? Let's find out. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I have the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus with me and it's just a beautiful feature packed timeless phone. It was released in April 2017 and in my opinion it was the most good looking phone at that time, or maybe one of the most good looking smartphones at that time, and still it's a very gorgeous looking phone. It's because of this sleek, slim, tall design with some crazy high-end specs at that time. So speaking of the specs, it has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 chipset or the Exynos 8895, which were the improved successors of the Qualcomm Snapdragon 821 and the Exynos 8890. So not a huge difference, but these are very fast chipsets, and still today the Snapdragon 835 is a very fast chipset. I mean, there are no lags, no issues in the performance in the daily tasks and the high performance tasks as well. So those who are still using it will know about this. So on the performance side, this is still a champ. And speaking of this beautiful tall design, it has this beautiful color rich super AMOLED display, which Samsung called the infinity display at that time, and the design of the screen is just beautiful piece of hardware. The bezels were reduced, which makes the screen very immersive. It's the standard 60 Hz refresh rate, but you will not notice the difference except if you are coming from a S20 Ultra or a Note 20 Ultra or another new flagship smartphone, which is not a common case, I think. And look at these rounded corners and edged screen. It's still not an old looking phone, I think. It was a big 6.2-inch screen at that time and has a high resolution Quad HD 1440p and with enough high pixel density, a little more on the smaller S8, which has the 5.8-inch screen. So the design wise and the screen, it was an excellent phone, and in my opinion is still a very good looking phone, at least more than so many budget and mid-range phones in terms of the premium build, feel in the hand, and you can get a used or a refurbished one very cheap nowadays, which is way more value you can get for the price. You can get a used one for 150, 170 to $200 or more, or a refurbished one for 200, 230 to $300. So one thing which always disappoints the Samsung users is the lack of software support from the Samsung. I mean, the iPhone 6s is running the latest iOS 14, which is our 2015 smartphone, and this just stopped at Android 9, which is pretty frustrating, but it is still better than the bad TouchWiz and the slightly improved Samsung experience, and it's running the One UI with Android 9, and I think this phone is for sure capable of running the Android 10 at least, or maybe the 11 as well, because this phone has a solid hardware like the processor, the camera, the screen. The RAM is quite enough, 4 gigabytes and 6 gigs. So what's wrong with it? Or might be because the Samsung has these large number of budget and mid-range phones. But after all, if you are the person that has nothing with the newest software and you just use your phone for some daily tasks like social media, video watching, or making calls and messages, and you don't do anything like high-end gaming, video editing on your phone, or anything intensive that needs newest and latest specs, then you don't need anything more than this, and this phone may be best fit in your hand. And if you are already using this, you will just need nothing else. But the software is just outdated for many people, and a custom ROM is also an option for the Exynos variants that will slightly improve your overall experience with this phone. But again, if the new latest software is your concern, then this phone is not for you, and if not, then you will not have any problem using it with the Android 9 or maybe a custom one. Speaking of the camera, this was also for sure one of the best smartphone camera, but of course not in 2021. And you know, there are these sets of different kinds of lenses in phones, which is just kind of gimmicky trend, I think. But after all, new phones have far better cameras than before, and for this price I think you will get more than just a budget or a mid-range camera. It is 12 megapixels and can record 4K 30 fps, 1080p 60 fps, and also it shoots some very traditional Samsung clear sharp HDR images, which is very nice. And after that you have everything which you or probably anyone would like in a complete package, just like this phone. You get Gorilla Glass on the front and back, IP68 water resistance, expandable storage, fast charging, wireless charging, USB-C port, headphone jack, Samsung desk experience for connecting with a monitor, expandable storage, and excellent color options, an iris scanner which is not very reliable but good to have, and a very loud and good sounding speaker speaker as well. You also have a weirdly placed fingerprint sensor, which was then fixed in the next Galaxy S9, but you will get used to it when you just figure out where is the location with your muscle memory. And for the battery life, I would say it has a very good battery life, like consistent 4 to 5 or 5.5 hours of screen on time. And Samsung claimed that it would retain 90% of the battery capacity after 2 years of usage, which is true, I think. And this one is like 3 years old and the battery has not been replaced yet, and it still goes through the day with 4 hours of screen on time. So for the battery, I would say you will not have any problem at all. Okay, so in the end, the question is, should you use or can you use it in 2021? Simply, I would say, as I mentioned, if you are a very general user, like you just use your phone for social media, video watching, phone calls, or stuff like that, which a large number of people are, then you can use it without any problem. It has a gorgeous screen, a very premium build which still looks nice, a very good camera, good battery life, and everything else which you will need in your daily life. Also, all that in an amazing price. Or if you want the latest software, the newest specs like processor, camera, high refresh rate screen, larger battery, and you want to pay for it, then there are a lot more options there. And if you are already using it and you are okay with it, then that's fine. And if you want to upgrade, then there are a lot better options. So that's pretty much it. And thank you so much guys for watching, and please be sure to subscribe and do support the channel, and see you in the next one.